Hey everybody, welcome back. Today I am going to be comparing my tofu. So normally I use a tofu press. I have 2 packets of tofu, the firm organic tofu. What I'm going to be comparing is putting one in the freezer overnight and then letting it thaw out and then pressing it and then just having one that I just press. So apparently when you freeze it, it's supposed to come out with a better consistency and texture, so we're going to see how that works out. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead, we're going to open it up. You're going to drain out the juice or the water, rather I should call it, that comes in the tofu. You're going to drain that out. And I'm hoping that this container is going to work. I don't know, it might fit in here. You want to find a nice container that you can, nope, this one's not going to work. Let me see my other one. You're going to find a container in which you can put it in and freeze it. So I'm hoping that this one works. Oh yeah, this will work. I'm just going to smash it down a little bit. So you find your container, place it in there, and then you're going to freeze it overnight. It's been 24 hours and we have taken the tofu out of the freezer. Actually, my husband took it out a little bit earlier. So it is still frozen. We will be cooking it. And again, like we mentioned, you're going to use the tofu. You're going to press the tofu, I should say, after it's completely thawed out. And like they claim, we're going to do a comparison video because we're going to use the tofu that we didn't freeze and check out and see if the texture is better. Supposedly, it is supposed to soak up any flavors or marinades that you use better. So we're going to find out today. I have both of these tofus. This is the tofu that was not frozen. And this is the tofu that was frozen. So at this point, I'm not really noticing a big difference in the 2 tofus right now. But I'm going to go ahead, press both of them out, and then start the cooking process to see if there is any difference. This is the tofu that I had froze. So what I'm going to do is cut these up differently because that way I'll know exactly which one is which. So I'm going to slice this one in half this way, and I'm going to make long strips instead of making squares. I'm going to make smaller strips, or shall I say. Actually, I'm going to have to do something here. Maybe I'll try to do different. Yeah, I'll do them this way because I'm going to have to get them smaller. Ava. So yeah, I'm going to do these kind of on diagonal cuts. The other ones I will make exact square cuts. All right, I'm going to put this aside. I'm going to put these aside and then go ahead and drain the other, show you guys the other ones as I cut it. All right, so I cut the tofu that I did not freeze into cubes. And so that way as I cook them, I'll be able to tell once they're done which tofu actually, if there's a difference, freezing it first or if it's just an unnecessary thing to do. For cooking the tofu, I'm actually putting in the pan. I did 2 teaspoons or 2 tablespoons of coconut oil. It's probably more than that. I just kind of did a heaping scoop. I used the measuring spoon, but I didn't really measure it. So I'm going to put that in the pan. I'm going to add in my onion just so it can cook with the tofu. I'm also using garlic, fresh or minced garlic, but I'm not going to add that yet. I'm going to go ahead and put my first batch of tofu in the pan. And I'm putting my second batch. So just a reminder, all these kind of weird shaped tofu pieces, these are the ones that I froze. And actually, if you can see the texture, it does look like it has a little bit more, I don't know if the word is porous, then this looks more solidified. So it's supposed to help with the texture of the tofu, freezing it, and it's also supposed to help you be able to let whatever your marinating or seasoning your tofu with soak up the seasoning better. So we shall see. I've just been cooking my tofu for about 5 minutes now, and all I'm doing is just kind of flipping it, just trying to make it get golden brown on either side. With I do have a lot in this pan, so I don't think all of it will get completely heated through. I hope it does, but I'm going to be putting a sauce in it, so whatever doesn't get completely brown will at least get cooked, hopefully thoroughly through. So at this point, I don't really notice a huge difference in the pieces as they're cooking, but we will be able to tell hopefully once it is done. So most of my pieces are pretty much getting brown. I think I'm going to go ahead and start adding in the sauce. I know this video is about making whether freezing tofu or not is better, but I'm going to go ahead and include this recipe for making this buttered tofu, vegan buttered tofu. So we shall see how this turns out. First thing I'm going to add is diced tomatoes. I'm going to add those into the mix. I'm going to turn this down just a little bit. Stir this up. I have never made this particular recipe, so I'm not sure how this is going to turn out. I made an almond and milk cream. So I'm going to go ahead and let that continue to cook, mixing it in together. Actually looks pretty good. Try to get as much of that out as I can. And the next thing I'm going to add is my seasonings, which include cinnamon, turmeric, coriander, chili, and cumin. So I'm going to add those, stir those into this. I will probably add a little bit of salt to this recipe. I did put salt on my tofu, but I don't think it was salted enough. But I'll check the flavor before I add the salt. So this is actually looking really nice. Oh, this looks really good. Okay, so I'm gonna let this cook for a little bit. Hopefully see if this soaks into the flavor. I forgot, I'm gonna add some minced onion. I gotta add that in too. I'm gonna add in some minced garlic. So I'm just gonna kind of take this and just pour it in there. Okay, time to taste the sauce. It's good, but I do need to add some salt. This recipe is pretty good. It does not taste as authentic as I was hoping. I used to work with a young lady that was Indian, from India, and she prepared buttered chicken for us at work. And when I tell you that it was one of the best things I have ever eaten in my life, that's not an understatement. So this is pretty good. It does not really give me all the feels that hers gave me, but it's definitely a nice different dish for us to eat. So I'm gonna let this cook for a little bit, and then we will come back and see if there is a difference with the two types of tofu. I almost forgot to add the maple syrup. It says 2 tablespoons of maple syrup. I really don't have that much left, so I'm just gonna throw my whole bottle that I have left in here. Whatever I have in here will just have to do the trick. One thing I like about this particular recipe, I've been letting it cook for a little bit, is that it actually does come out pretty thick, like that of buttered chicken recipe. The flavor, again, I feel like I'm missing something out of it that probably should have been there, but I will try it again definitely, because it definitely is good. But let's go ahead and get to the tofu. Let's see if the tofu is different. I'm going to go ahead and pull out the first piece, which is the tofu that I actually froze overnight. And let me get a piece of tofu that was not frozen. Let me make sure it's one that was not frozen. So since I have kind of been tasting on it, I'll actually let my daughter taste it and see what she thinks. So this is the piece that Atlantis just ate. That piece was the one that was not frozen.
This was?
And the piece you're getting ready to eat was frozen. So what we're looking to find out is if the texture feels different or if the flavor seems different. I mean, I know they're both going to taste similar, but if you feel like one has more flavor than the other.
No.
You don't taste the texture difference?
Just by little.
Which one tastes, like what did you taste different?
The one that was more different, it tasted different because it was like less squishy, and the other one was more squishy.
Which one did you think was less squishy?
Whatever
the square one, the one that was frozen. So okay then. So I guess then, to say that, then I guess that, you know, freezing it does give it a better texture. Okay, and I think for the flavor, I don't think we really could have gotten the flavor just based on what I cooked. It was kind of hard to figure out marinating because it didn't really marinate, but I guess we'll be freezing it overnight from here on out. All right, well, thanks again.
Make sure you like and subscribe and put a thumbs up if you like this video. And the butter sauce will be in the description down below. Thanks for watching.